When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And here we're here to show you more Gundam.
Yes, more Gundam. Even more than before.
And of course some of the other things that came out this time upcoming.
Yes.
So
Roll that footage.
yes.
Okay.
So we had quite a few awesome ones. We have
Yeah.
a couple of things that we can show you off to show you what the old editions look like on some
Yeah.
of these releases, as we have quite a few of these new editions coming out. But you can lead us off.
And was it Classics or Essentials, the line for this one?
They're
I don't
both,
remember. Yeah, they've
out
got a
there.
little bit of each. One of the most acclaimed series that neither of us has ever seen, despite the fact that we both own it, is the series Steins Gate. That's getting a new release from Funimation.
I haven't opened mine yet.
Yeah.
Though I have played the game,
Ah.
because it was a freebie.
Yeah. And the new one does not include the movie, right? It's just the series?
I don't think it includes
Yeah.
the movie. I would have to double check.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that looked like... It said complete series, but...
I mean, it's the Classics.
Yeah.
It is on Classics.
Okay.
And I'm, of course, trying... I mean, Steins Gate is this one about, what was it? Science and time travel.
Time travel, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the 25 episodes.
Yeah.
So no movie for you.
Oh.
No soup for you.
I still need the movie.
So, any case, to me, Steins Gate looks interesting. It's one of those that I really feel one must have in their collection, which is sad because I've never seen it.
Yes.
But I have seen almost every one of the ones I'm covering here that are that I own copies of.
Well, I've seen half of these.
So I'm going to just start off with what's at the top here instead of the top of my list.
Yeah.
And that is Dead Man Wonderland is getting a re-release. Now, that's the original release. And now I will talk about it. Dead Man Wonderland is about this guy who is just a regular high school student. Then some psycho woman comes in and murders his entire class. And because of this, he's the one blamed for the murders because he's the only one left alive, and he is sentenced to this jail. But it is not just any jail. It's some sort of messed up arcade-style jail, like X-Men arcade style.
Yeah.
So it might as well be
Murderland,
essentially. And he ends up developing these strange powers because of his proximity to her during the murders. And it is a very disturbing, you might even have a hard time with it.
Hence why I have not seen it. I have been advised against it.
A very good series. The other one I had advised him against was the zombie one, which is High School of the Dead. But I didn't like that one because of probably why you would like it, which was it was heavy fan service, but it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
And the weird boob physics. I mean, the Ninja Girl's boobs dodged a bullet.
Weird boob physics. Yes.
Well, any case.
Any case. So, the remainder of my list is going to be movies that Oscar said, screw you guys, you're going home.
They should be releasing nominees.
Every one of these is a movie that was in the discussion according to some people. Every one of these is a film I want to see, and not one of the 6 has been nominated for Oscar. And the one I have seen, I can vouch for it as a snub. But anyway, I'm going to start with a movie that got the Golden Globe for star Rosamund Pike, and that is the movie A Private War. I don't remember much about it. Do you recall where it takes place? I know it's a contemporary set war movie. And she has an eye patch.
War never changes.
War never changes. No, it doesn't. Rosamund Pike, of course, is a very talented actress. She has had an Oscar nomination for Gone Girl. A lot of people thought she was a contender this go-round. She didn't get it. I'll have to see the film eventually.
Well, this next one actually got a sequel, which I'm waiting to see the sequel release. I'm wondering if they will actually get a physical release for the sequel series. But I've heard the sequel series, much like the Kino series that came out later, was not anywhere near as good as the original. And whether you love it or hate it, it's hard to deny that it is loved in the community. And that is Fooly Cooly. Actually,
overrated is what it is.
Actually, this release is not very different from the one that they are doing, and probably is the exact same. I'm guessing many of these are the exact same releases, just repackaged, much like the save editions. Fooly Cooly is, I mean, musically it's very rich. The Pillows give it an awesome soundtrack, and it does have a very indie feel to it, mixed with chaos and madness. Essentially, it's about a boy having a lot of melancholy over the loss of his brother and just the emptiness that he feels when it comes to looking towards his future. Then in comes a woman from space who hits him upside the head with a guitar. And from that point, we fight aliens, and robots jump out of a person's head and crap out people. And that's just the minor part of some of the strangeness that goes on.
You know, your typical, average, run-of-the-mill story.
But if you like strange stuff, and you do enjoy a kickin' soundtrack, Fooly Cooly is well worth at least one watch.
I think one of the things that I found a little strange, and your mileage may vary, is that it's very hit or miss on the way the animation is done. There's a lot of still frames. There's a lot of comic panels. It is a visually unique series.
They even did South Park style animation for a part of it.
Yes, yes. So my next one is a movie that was not really in the Oscar consideration, but a lot of critics and pundits and just random movie geeks put this on their year-end best-of list. And it's based on a book that apparently is very popular and people enjoy it. And that was a movie that starred Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly in the title role of the Sisters Brothers. And I don't know much about this except that it's a Western with an unusual title, but they're both very talented actors. A lot of people gave Phoenix in particular a lot of praise for this film. It's supposed to be quite entertaining. I do have a hold on it through the library. God knows when I'll get to it. But it's one that I want to know, because I have heard some hype. I want to know if the hype is, what it's about.
See, mine comes from loosely based on Akira Toriyama's
Kurosawa?
Sorry, yeah. Kurosawa.
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. Toriyama.
Slightly different. Slightly.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah, Seven Samurai by way of Dragon Ball, apparently.
And that is the Samurai 7.
Yes.
I got this because it was really cheap at movie stops.
Same here.
Back in the day. And I enjoyed what I saw of it.
Yeah.
It was a decent action anime. And if you can get it cheap, I really do think that you should get it. Animation is smooth, the writing is decent, and it's overall a solid watch. It's not my favorite by any means, but at the same time, I would watch it again.
Yeah, medieval Japan with mechs, basically.
Yeah, well, like a lot of theirs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Batman Ninja.
And more Gundam.
And I will admit, the new one will be more compact than this.
Yes.
And without the flimsy box. So that's good. So my next one is a movie that is one of 3 films this year that features very prominently Claire Foy in an acclaimed role. And she stepped into the role, formerly, I think Rooney Mara was the previous, of Lisbeth Salander in the Stieg Larsson series. Although they did a weird thing. After the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo American version kind of crashed and burned here, they said, we really want to stick with this franchise, but rather than continuing with the first 3, we're just going to pick up with the 4th novel, which actually is not by Larson because Larson died before the 4th novel was written. So it's one of those things like with Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan novels.
Hey, but it's an original movie.
Exactly. But the 4th book, The Girl in the Spider's Web, has been turned into a new movie, which apparently is subtitled a new Dragon Tattoo movie or something. It's like, stupid subtitle. No, but just call it The Girl in the Spider's Web. But Foy plays Solander, and I've not read the 4th book. I've actually not read the books. I need to read the books. But I've seen the original Swedish trilogy and the David Fincher film, and it's a rough series.
It's a hard one.
Solander is an interesting character.
I have read the books, and they are darker.
All of them?
Yeah, except for the 4th one.
Right.
Because I didn't consider that really
that.
But I knew what it was before it was, and even if I didn't know what it was, the title would have given it away.
Right.
So, it's just as it is. It's another one of those.
I have to say, I've not seen this one yet. But between Unsane and First Man, Claire Foy had a hell of a year. Yeah. And she got robbed not getting a single Oscar nomination. So if her performance in this one's as good as people say it is, then I'm really going to be like, she got robbed.
I will say this, if those films had come out now, I probably would never have read that trilogy because this is back in the time when I had a lot of free time on my hands. I was single, I was only working one job. It was just, I was in an apartment complex, so it really wasn't, or was I still in when did they come out?
They give you something to do when the wife's reading 50 Shades Grey.
Hey, there you go. Alright, well, this next one has actually got a good pedigree by it. Directed by our favorite, Mr. Watanabe, who has also been known for a lowly series called Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
One that nobody's heard of.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of it. He also did Kids on the Slope.
Yeah.
He's had some good stuff.
But this one is another one that is almost as well known. He was trying to hit gold a second time with a second style of music, and that is Samurai Champloo.
Mm-hmm.
This one was, whereas Cowboy Bebop was more jazz and bebop inspired, really.
Mm-hmm. Blues, really.
Yeah, really.
A lot of blues.
This one was more R&B inspired. Again, a samurai tale, and there's a lot of familiar elements to Cowboy Bebop in it. Having it in a compact package is pretty good because this is, again, it's a similar to this package, but not as thick.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a decent samurai tale. Still similar themes, as the main characters are basically dirt poor and looking for food. But still a fun one with some good themes, great action, and a good soundtrack.
And I have to concede, reluctantly, I'm a very, very bad anime collector. I actually do not yet have Samurai Champloo.
Well, now you got the
So
opportunity.
now I have an excuse to get it. Yeah. And yeah, main thing is I've been too cheap to pay more than $20, and this is a series that never goes under 20. So, yeah. Or very rarely. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and lump these two together, mainly because I know relatively little about them, and I have more stuff than he does. There were two anime coming out this week that are both films that were released here in the last year. They were both submitted for Oscar approval. They were, of course, both overlooked. And they're both films that are supposedly pretty flippin' awesome from people who make flippin' awesome anime. And I really, really want to see them both, and I'll probably end up ordering them both just so that I can see them. Lu Over the Wall is by Masaki Yuasa, the director of Night a Short Walk On Girl, Devilman Crybaby, Tatami Galaxy, and what have you. But this one and Night is Short, he actually submitted two films here last year. Lu Over the Wall came here right at the beginning of the year, and I don't know much about it. I just know that it, like all of his films, it's visually stunning.
I will be watching it relatively soon.
Yeah.
I really want Tatami Galaxy to come out here.
I know. I really want that too, especially because Night is Short is part of that universe, and I want to, And then Makia, When the Promised Flower Blooms, is apparently, I didn't realize this, it's apparently from the team behind Anohana.
Oh.
So, Anohana, of course, is one of the great tearjerkers of anime. And supposedly, Makia, I heard it described like this. They said that, like, this reviewer described it as, imagine Middle-earth, and imagine that Gondor had decided to wipe out Rivendell and enslave all who remain. And so, in this world, you have essentially the elven characters. One of them finds a human baby and decides to raise it as her own, because reasons. But apparently, so it goes into this whole, this girl who does not age has this child that's aging as, and it's a very interesting, complex relationship dynamic kind of movie. But from the people who made Anohana, which means this is a guaranteed tearjerker movie. Probably not one you want to watch when you need some light and frothy.
Could be a gutbuster comedy.
And it is gorgeous. I have both of these, Lu Over the Wall and Makia. From what I've seen of the animation, they're both gorgeous films. I really want to see them both. And shame on you, Oscar, for thinking that you were being progressive by letting one anime in.
Opening the gate, just one person at a time.
Yes.
But,
all the more reason why we need an animation category and vocal acting categories.
This is why you guys at home need to start ordering these particular by this director, because that will encourage them to say, we can make more from some of these other things that are laying around.
And these are, by the way, both Shout Factory releases. Shout is doing really good with these off-kilter kind of...
Well, I mean, he did some good series. I mean, Space Dandy, for goodness sakes.
Space Dandy was Yuasa?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, yeah, from what I hear, that's a weird-ass show.
Well, yeah, he's associated from Weird Ass. The Space Show was his.
Didn't Watanabe have a hand in that one too?
I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me, but I know one from just the last list we did. I was looking at it.
Right.
But in any case, my last anime throwout is the Cardcaptor Sakura series. There's a new one.
Yes.
They seem to be rebooting everything, even in Japan.
Yes.
And that is Cardcaptors: The Clear Card.
Looking forward to the Fruits Basket reboot.
Part 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long this series is, but I am starting for the ride, and we will see how it goes. I like Cardcaptors. I have the entire Pioneer release of it. You've got the really expensive release. Well, mine's expensive too, but yours is better quality.
I think I still need to get the first movie. Now, if I understand correctly, this one takes place like 3 or 4 years later, right?
Yeah.
Like
She's older.
Yeah, but not like much older. Like, isn't it still like middle school?
I really need to see Tsubasa. Because I don't really know how all that, and a lot of the Clamp worlds intertwine with each other. So I have no clue as to how that went, because her character and, God, whatever his name is, Lee. I mean, they're the main characters in that.
But that's an alternate.
But it's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
But still, it's kind of interesting. Or just looking at Clamp. Clamp has a diverse thing, and then of course they also have their weirdness as well. I mean, I've watched X.
I've seen a lot of Clamp, but not near as much as he has. So my last one on this one is a film that I got to go see last week. And I have to admit, this one was an Oscar bait movie in a lot of ways that was guaranteed not to get much because it's a, quote, genre film. It's essentially a heist film, but not exactly a heist film. It's also a drama that, wow, I wonder, with all the other films that came out this year, I'm shocked it has racial overtones. But it's a film by Steve McQueen, the guy who did 12 Years a Slave. And it's a film called Widows. And Widows had a phenomenal pedigree. I'm not just Steve McQueen. You got Hans Zimmer doing the score, which I'm not a huge Hans Zimmer person, but it's an effective score. Sade actually did an original song for the film. But then you got the cast. The cast of the film is awesome. The titular widows are played by Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, and Carrie Coon. And one of the husbands is played by Liam Neeson. You also had Colin Farrell and Robert Duvall and John Tyree Henry, who's had a hell of a breakout year. This one and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and some other stuff. And Daniel Kaluuya, who's actually one of the best villains of the year in this one. Colin Farrell gave one of the best performances of his career. And Viola Davis was flat out robbed. Flat out robbed. The film got no Oscar love at all. And Viola Davis was wildly positioned as a contender. She was robbed.
She could have been a contender.
And the really cruel bit of this is that the film started with a quick little PSA from Steve McQueen where he's like, hey, I'm Steve McQueen, and guess what? I have wanted to do this movie for years. This is like a labor of love. I am so happy I got to do this. But whereas the Academy fell all over itself to fillet Alfonso Cuarón's labor of love, they wanted nothing to do with Steve McQueen's. And I'm like, come on, really? I don't get it. Especially, it's even funnier because the two of them were the ones duking it out with 12 Years a Slave and Gravity. You know, it's weird. But at any rate, speaking of the Academy goofing, we're going to go ahead. Since we're not doing a regular vlog this week, I wanted to do one news blurb that kind of pissed me off. The Academy has put out little feelers, little floaters, hinting that during the telecast, they will only have 2 musical numbers, and they're not even inviting the other people to perform. That is the word on the street. And guess which 2 they are. You got Kendrick Lamar for Black Panther with all the stars for Black Panther, and Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born. No consideration apparently is being given to the other three contenders in the category. I have stated this for a long time. You can tell me if you agree or disagree on this. I don't know. Everyone talks about how bloated the telecast is, how long it is, all this kind of stuff. But they're always looking for ways to trim the fat. Don't trim the entertainment. The entertainment is not fat. Songs are a great way to break it up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a great way for the people at home to participate. Because if the people at home don't live in L.A. County, they haven't seen most of these movies. But if you play all the songs, they can at least know one category before the end of the night.
So what are the two songs that they're playing?
All the Stars and Shallow are the two that are...
So I guess that means that the others are guaranteed to lose because they wouldn't perform any of the
Probably.
ones that...
And that's another thing. You're basically saying... you're basically saying, we think these are going to be the winners, so the rest of you, thanks for playing, try again. And let's see, what are the other contenders? You got the one for Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which is a great song, and I want to hear it performed. And then you got the one from RBG, which is also a great song. And then, what was the other one? There was one more. It was, I don't know. There were some really kick-ass songs that were not nominated, and I'm not talking about the fireworks one that I talk about every single time. The entire flippin' soundtrack to Into the Spider-Verse was awesome, and one of those should have got a nod. And even the song from Aquaman, I think was a really, really good one,
Well,
But,
again,
anyway.
I feel like eventually what they're going to do is some guy's going to walk out on stage, read a list of the winners, and then that'll be like the whole of it, 10 minutes done, and there'll be...
All right, thanks for coming out. Y'all go home now. Yeah, go to the bar.
Though, Cinebistro is doing a pretty good package. $50, and they give you the full meal, and you get to sit there for the whole thing. You get continued service throughout, and you get, there's a contest.
Yeah.
So if you can get out to something like that, that's pretty cool.
Ooh.
We won't be getting out to that, because I can't afford that.
Oh.
But,
You guys called out sick last time we did that.
But we will, hey, I gave you all tickets.
Yeah.
We are planning on doing a party for that.
Woo!
And I'm going to be scouring to see, and I'm sure you're going to be looking too, to see if there's any uncut versions where you get to see the whole thing instead of where they leave out some of the awards. Because
That was you've probably heard this, that they're talking about giving some of the awards out during the commercials. Don't do that. That's just rude. It's just inconsiderate to the people that are winning. Cut some of the stupid slideshows. We don't care about the slideshows. At least if they don't have a host this year, that might help things go faster.
True.
Maybe.
Well, in any case, we do have one more release, which, of course, since we're talking about all the Oscar consideration and films that kind of failed on release, this is the last, I'm guessing, of the Cloverfield trilogy, Cloverfield Paradox, which dropped online just out of nowhere, and it's one of those that then flopped out of nowhere as well.
Yes.
And it takes place in space. Doesn't really have a lot to do with the other two movies, and is kind of, from what everybody has been saying, not good. And they are releasing a 4-film set for those of you who want the complete ones, and I will eventually.
4-film set.
Yeah.
So is it including? 3. Well, I was going to say
3-film set. Yeah.
Because there's technically a 4th one that might be considered part of that group.
I can't remember. It's on here. Let me see here. Cloverfield 3
movie. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the 3 movie. So they might do one more, but again, I don't know, because this last one kind of failed.
Because A Quiet Place started life as a Cloverfield spinoff.
That's kind of sad, considering how good that one did.
I know.
If that had remained in the series, it might have saved it.
The weird thing is, I have never seen Cloverfield But I have seen 10 Cloverfield Lane and A Quiet Place, and they're both phenomenal films. They really
Cloverfield
are.
was a good film. It
Yeah.
was a game changer.
Yeah.
And really, 10 Cloverfield Lane was a game changer too. So it's kind of weird
So
how that one bombed.
Tune in to our video of people grossly overdue for Oscar consideration, and you'll see stars of both 10 Cloverfield Lane and A Quiet Place making my list.
So with that being said, we are going to leave you for another time. Of course, like our video, subscribe, share. Of course, we want to try and get to that 100. We're up to 97.
Pretty close.
We're getting very close.
Yeah.
And we want to keep going. We're very slow to grow, but I think that those people who do stay are the quality people after all.
Right.
And tell us in the comments what types of things are coming out that you have an interest in getting
Right.
when they come out.
Yes.
So I will tell you, see us on the next one.
Goodbye.